Kids and cadets, appreciate you coming out. What we have here is a 2018 Remington. Gentleman messaged me about an hour ago, actually, and said, hey, I see you've got some mowers for sale. Do you fix them? And I said, sometimes. I said, what do you have and what's the issue? He said, I have a Remington. And the bells went off. I know a Remington is one of the cheapy cheaps, and it's usually a completely China activated machine, and this is no different. This has got a Zongshen engine on it, self-propelled. So he said, you pull on it, it won't start. It'll start for a second and then quit. Pull, it'll start for a second and quit. So that's indicative of a fuel related issue. So I grilled him about fuel. He didn't know anything about non-ethanol. It appears he put another spark plug in it. He said his kid used it. The kid went ahead and looks like hit something. He said he put oil in it, and I checked the oil with him here, and it's way overfilled, so that's an issue. You can see it actually leaking out of the intake right here. So I'm going to concentrate on fuel once I pour off some oil off of this thing, get it at the right level. What we're going to do is throw this up on my tailgate. I'll bring you along. We'll go through this thing. This is, I may have done 1 or 2 videos on this similar Zongshen. Might have not been of Remington, but the engine assembly was the same. So I just have a soda can I cut in half. We're going to pour off some of the oil here. No sense in starting off on the wrong foot. More is not better. So hopefully we can do this job in 30 minutes or less and my iPad doesn't overheat. I'm kind of in the driveway here in the shade. Kind of dropped everything I was working on when he showed up. Said that his wife was after him to do the job. When could he have the mower back? I said I'd try to work on it today or tomorrow. I said, let me give you a loaner. So I just gave him a Boland's high wheel pusher. I said, here, use my mower. Your wife will be extremely happy and you can keep peace. So another thing I noticed, I said, you really cut your grass low. He's got this down at the very bottom. I said, you shouldn't be cutting it that low. So I don't know if he was an amateur. He seemed older than me, but he didn't know too much about yard equipment. He's scalping the grass. Of course, this kid hit a rock. This thing is so low to the ground that it'll hit anything. So let's check the oil again. I poured off quite a bit. I still got more to go. We're above the hash marks here, so I got to do another pour. He really had this thing filled. We may fill this container, and it looks kind of silvery. This is well used. I said, how long have you had? He said, oh, bought it from a friend of mine, moved to Connecticut. He said the unit's new. So it's a 2018. I wouldn't call that new, a new unit. This thing's been around. It's got some rust on the handle. I asked him if the self-propelled work. He said it did. So what we may do is give him an oil change here once we get this thing to start. He said the next thing he was going to tackle was the blade's slightly bent and it's flat. There was no cutting edge whatsoever on this. So I'll let him deal with that. My main concern is to get this thing running. Told to get rid of his old gas from last year. So I poured too much out. I'm just going to put a little bit more in from that container. I'm down to here. It's acceptable, but I just want a little bit more in there. Hopefully I don't make a mess. Okay, that should do it. I did spill some. So let's get this up on the tailgate. Got some needle nose for the fuel line, and basically these are all 10 millimeter bolts and nuts on this. You don't need a large selection of tools. When I talked to him, he said, "Oh, I'm making the another air filter fit." He's got the original one here, which appears to be a little smaller than a standard Briggs, so he went ahead and cut the foam on a Briggs to make it work, which is fine by me. I'd rather have a chopped up filter in there than no filter at all. So let me manhandle this beast to the tailgate and we'll start disassembling it. I got fresh Wawa fuel nearby. If you're from Pennsylvania, you know that Wawa's a Pennsylvania-based company. It's a gas station. They also have a deli-type facility inside. If you grew up on the main line, Wayne, Devon, Bryn Mawr, Villanova, you certainly know Wawa gas station. One day I'm going to go to the Devon Horse Show. That's one thing on my bucket list. Devon Horse Show. Okay, we're going to work on this, the 10s. I've got to get the tank off, so I'm going to work on the recoil. There's 3 up here that are 10s. Let me get those off. Hopefully he didn't screw up the keyway when the sun hit something, a stationary object. Okay, tanks loose. I got my needle nose. We're going to pour the gas into this iced tea container. Once I remove the clip from the fuel line, give it a twist. There's a bunch of oil back here. Okay, we're almost loose on this. Oh, yeah, he said he put gas in it, and this thing is really heavy with fuel. So let me bring you down. We can see what comes out of this thing. Hopefully I don't make a mess. Okay, it's I'm spilling it. What do we got? It's hard to tell what's down there. Yeah, I do see a little bit of yard waste, and it's kind of pooling up like there's water in here. I'm going to blast this out with some compressed air. I think there was some water in the tank. Yeah, I can see it. All the yard waste is clinging to the water. Okay, blasted that clean. That's going to be ready to go. Let's concentrate on the carburetor now. I'll set this aside. Somebody going by playing some tunes. Three tens. This is all deja vu on the Zongshen. Okay, so I'll put the air filter backing plate to the side. Pay attention how this comes off. Oh, the other issue I found, I kind of was looking under the recoil here. The spark plug wire was interfering with the choke linkage. It was pushing down on it, so I kind of rearranged the wire. Okay, so paying attention how this thing goes. Hopefully you can see this. Yeah, I remember doing one of these. It's got an air vane here. Let's see what you're seeing. Okay, you're seeing everything I'm seeing. So the air vane, I kind of remember pulling up on this to get this off. Let's do the governor / throttle linkage in the spring. Grab my needle nose. These can come in handy. Removing the spring. Okay, that's off. I think what I did before is just manhandle this off like that. Okay. We'll mess with this later. I'll leave that there. Doesn't take much to get this off. So we've got 10 for the bowl nut. Let me try to get another clean container so I can see what's in this bowl. Okay, I think I got something. just another bleach container. Let me remove that. So I knocked a bunch of dirt into the container here. There is a little bit of rust build up in the bowl. Otherwise, I don't see anything terribly bad. The bowl nut isn't rusty and corroded here. That's one of the first things I look at. If you have a really rusty carburetor, this ends up getting rusty. So there does appear to be another layer down there. So there was some water in the bowl. I can see the dirt's attaching to that water layer. So I'm going to do a quickie quick on this. I won't remove the idle jet circuit. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to blast some compressed air through here and see if that does the trick. I'll probably regret it when this thing doesn't idle that I didn't clean out the jet. Since I think it's water, I won't remove the main jet and the emulsion tube. I'm just going to blast some compressed air. I basically eliminated the water in the bowl. That's all I'm going to do. There's no rust here whatsoever. So let me look at this. I may get my Dollar Tree brush and just scrub that up a little bit. But before we do, today's refreshment is just some Costco Kirkland brand purified water. Still here in the shade. It's hot and humid. There we go. Just a little refreshment. So I'm just gonna do this. So I'll coach the gentleman. He actually lives fairly close, like 3 streets away. He was here in no time. So I seem to be attracting people from my own neighborhood. Or they're attracting me something. So let's put this back. I want my drain screw to the front of the unit. This Huay, H-U-A-Y-I. The 201A. So kind of a quickie quick on this. He wanted to know if he needed to bring the loaner back right away. I said, no, I've got plenty of other mowers. Take your time, use the machine. I made sure I filled the tank with non-ethanol before I gave it to him. I don't want him contaminating my machine. Okay, let's start putting this back together. Let me try to get you in on the deal here. Hopefully I can get the air vane back in place. So let's start with that first. And then I'll do the throttle / governor linkage last. Let me just see something here. Okay, there we go. Something like that. Yep, that's what I got to do. Okay, now we're cooking with fire. Just manhandling this back on. There's probably another way of doing it. I probably should have removed the brass wafer, lifted this up, and then just put the brass wafer in. I had needle nose nearby. Momentary lapse of reason there on my part. Okay, so time for this linkage in the spring. I'll start with the linkage first. Okay, that clicked down. Grab my needle nose. This will help me thread the needle, so to speak, as far as the spring wire. Okay, that's moving free and clear. That's free and clear. Now we come up to the thermostatic wafer assembly. That goes on. There's a gasket behind here. It's attached to that. So this gasket goes on the outside, but let me make sure this is moving. We still got some binding with the spark plug wire. Okay, that's on. Check it one more time. Okay, everything looks copacetic. Let's put this backing plate on. Don't forget my little spacer that goes back in the plastic. Okay, here we go. I'll get this started. Okay. Time for the recoil assembly. Get this lined up. Get my fuel line started. I got to go to the front of the machine, make sure I'm not binding up on that spark plug wire. Okay, fuel line's already pushed into the carburetor. Put my hose clamp in place. Make sure we're free and clear here on the linkage. Okay, no contact with the wire, so that's good. Let's do these by hand so I don't over torque them. So we'll get this guy out of the way and then I'll go back to my other projects. Sold a Toro recycler this morning with a bag for $200. Kind of a crazy deal. Guy showed me a picture of an old Quantum style Craftsman, probably a 675. Complete. Bag looked like it was in good condition. I told him that, yeah, I'd take it in on trade, I would. So I was out here working. I didn't see his message. He says, do you want me to bring the Craftsman? So he finally showed up and he said, I didn't bring the Craftsman because I didn't hear from you. Funny thing is he had a full-size Ford pickup truck. He could have fit 8 lawnmowers on the pickup truck. So why he didn't bring it, just in case I wanted it, I have no idea. Maybe the extra 90 pounds of weight hurt his gas mileage, but that was kind of an odd experience. He could have just thrown the Craftsman on the bed of the truck with no issues whatsoever. So that was kind of weird. People are weird. Okay. Let's put the recoil on. And we'll put some of my own Wawa fuel in this and see if it starts. Let him deal with the blade issue. Since this has been resting up here on the tailgate on a level surface, let's look at the oil one more time. Then we'll fuel it up here and then go ahead and drop it to the concrete. Okay, so I took a wild guess and it was right here at the top when I added that little shot of oil, so we're good on that. Still see the oil weeping here on the air filter cover. Okay, let's do this. Something's better than nothing. So what do you think the chances this thing will start? I think the chances are very good, above 60%. I'm just concerned about that idle jet circuit, that I didn't clean that out, but I think our big issue was water and not rust or any other contaminants. So we're at 30 minutes. No funnel. Let's pour gas all over the top of the unit. Okay, that's just enough to get it to start. And then I'll send him home with a full tank. I just hope he doesn't hit a rock with my unit. That's the only issue I have with giving him the loaner. Is mine going to come back with a bent shaft? Okay. So we're good here. We're good on the oil. Let's bring you back. We didn't overheat. I guess this is good enough here in the shade for us. Heavy unit, self-propelled. I'm gonna go ahead and move the wheels to the highest position. Okay, I think we're ready to go. We need some supervision. Okay, I'm gonna pull on this. So a little smoky, which I'm not surprised about. We probably had some oil going into the cylinder when I poured off this much overfillage. So that'll take a little time for that oil to burn off. Started a little shaky because of the blade, which I already knew about. The blade slightly off. He can deal with that. Rear wheel drive, I engaged that. It moved. Mr. Cluck kept an eye on it. Thought everything here looked copacetic. just wanted to see if there was any resistance in the wheels. They seem to be good enough. Oh, this is all-wheel drive. I just noticed that. Well, that's funny because I didn't notice the fronts moving. Let me start this thing again and see if the fronts work. Yeah, nothing's on the working there on the front. There was no engagement. So possibly cable needs adjustment, or the wheels or teeth on the wheels are worn off. At least he's got the rear wheel drives pushing it. He's got some action. I may degrease it for him since all that oil overflow kind of was seeping out. Just so when he comes to pick it up, he doesn't have oil dripping in his vehicle. So I'll degrease it, let it sit in the sun for an hour or so, call the gentleman and say, hey, your wife's going to be extremely pleased. The RM410 is in operating condition. If you're done with my unit, you can come back and pick up yours. We'll do a switcheroo, mine for yours. So 2018 Zongshen, I looked at the ID label back here and could see Zongshen here at the bottom, right there. 2018 MTD Consumer Group 159cc, yada, yada, yada. The EXH family JCZH8 159-1 Victor 1. Anywho, thought I'd bring you along on this one. It seemed to work out. Second time we started it, it felt like it had that an idle issue, but it smoothed itself out. So I'm gonna continue to hydrate, clean this up, let it dry, move on to another project. Call him so he keeps peace in the family. As always, please tip your waitress and wait staff. They're doing an awesome job. Mr. Cluck and I will come back at you and throw some more videos at you. He's not happy lately. I think he worked for like 10 minutes and then has not wanted to move since. Have a good day. Come back and see me. Like and subscribe. Appreciate all my new subscribers. Hope you're liking the content. Come back and see me. Thank you very much.